Welcome back, YouTube. In this video, we're gonna be going over the biggest mistakes that people make in their 20s and how making those mistakes can actually have a massively negative effect on the rest of your life. And we're gonna be talking about the biggest 5 money pits in your 20s and, more importantly, how to avoid them. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're gonna actually count down the biggest 5 mistakes that people make in their 20s that doom them to be poor the rest of their life. We're gonna count down from the 5th all the way down to the first, number 1 biggest, worst mistake that you can possibly make in your 20s. So number 5 is buying an expensive car. And I know it might sound hypocritical with this sitting behind me, but my first car when I actually was earlier in my 20s was actually a Buick Century. A Buick Century that I actually flew from Oregon all the way to Kentucky and drove all the way across the country because my grandparents didn't need that car anymore. So it literally cost me less than $3,000, completely all cash, and I had no payments, no interest, nothing. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that a car is a depreciating asset. And when people actually go out and buy expensive new cars, the second that they drive that car off of the parking lot of the dealership, it literally loses thousands of dollars of value. And most people actually have these huge loans on their cars, and they'll get to the point where they actually owe more on the loan for their car than their car is even actually worth. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't get a car no matter what in your 20s. I understand that most people, especially in the USA, you need a car to actually go to work and do normal things in your life. But what I am saying is, as a general rule of thumb, you should not be spending more than 10% of your after-tax income on a car, right? And what I mean by that is if you make $1,000 per month, then your total car payment, insurance, everything to do with your car should not total more than 10% of that, or $100. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever got when I was early in my 20s was, if you can't afford to buy it in cash and be completely comfortable, then you can't afford it. So all these people in their 20s going out and buying $50,000, $100,000 cars when they absolutely can't afford it and they just go into a huge amounts of debt, it ends up really catching up with you once you are later on into your 20s. Another huge mistake that young people are making every single day is avoiding risk. And I know that might not sound conventional. What I mean by that is that people have to take risks when they're in their 20s. When you're young and you have no responsibilities, you don't have a family, you don't have a mortgage payment, those are the best times in your life to go all in on a startup, or to go all in on starting a YouTube channel, or to go all in starting an e-commerce business, or betting on yourself and actually becoming an entrepreneur. There's never a better time in your life. I promise you, you'll never have less responsibilities. No matter how much responsibility you feel like you have right now, you'll never have less responsibility than you do when you are in your early 20s and younger. So it's the best time to actually bet on yourself and take a risk. And even if it doesn't work out, even if you work as hard as you can and you still quite can't make it work, you're still gonna have years ahead of you to actually go out and try new things, take new risks, or if you need to, go out and just get a traditional job. Because think about it like this: if I didn't take a risk back when I was 23, 24 years old, quitting my job, working 80 hours a week as an accountant, I would probably be an accountant managing somewhere in a cubicle, working 80-hour weeks right now, instead of, buying my dream house and my dream car and traveling the world for over 5 years. You have to take risks when you are in your early 20s. And I'm not saying go out there and be reckless, right? Be intelligent, but take intelligent risks, right? Do the research and actually do your due diligence, and then work extremely hard. And oftentimes you'll see that those risks sometimes have a weird habit of paying off. Huge financial mistake number 3 is splurging on expenses. And let me actually explain what I mean by that, because people in their 20s are going out and getting Starbucks every morning, they're going out to eat every single night, and then they're going to the bar with all of their friends, and they're doing this 6 nights a week, and then they're telling me, Kevin, I don't have any money, I don't know what's happening. And so you have to actually, in your 20s, develop responsible spending habits relative to your income, right? Because if you're making $1,000 a month, or if you're making $10,000 a month, then you have to have different habits when it comes to spending. But people that are making $1,000 a month but have $10,000 a month earning habits, right, they're not gonna be in a position to actually save money. And when you're in your 20s, you have to develop good habits to be able to save money, because it's gonna give you huge payoffs down the line when you actually can save up some money and develop those habits that are gonna last you a lifetime. And the second mistake that you have to make sure that you avoid when you're in your 20s, which is an absolute money pit, benefit is skipping out on 401k contributions from your employer. And let me explain what I mean by that. I don't blame you if you don't know what a 401k is, right? Because they don't teach the important stuff in school. But for the most part, if you have an employer, a 401k match from your employer is more or less free money. Essentially, what it allows you to do is, as an employee, you can take out a percentage of your paycheck every single month and invest that or save it completely tax-free. And you can allow this money to build and build until you finally take it out. Then you pay taxes on it, many years down the line, once that money has had a chance to massively expand due to what is called compound interest. Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, and he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. And compound interest is one of the most important things that you can possibly understand when you are early in your 20s or even younger, right? Because compound interest is what's going to make you have, multiple millions of dollars when you actually are the age to retire without actually contributing that much money every single month. And just to break it down with some simple math, if you started contributing to your 401k just $100 per week, by the time that you reach 65, you'll have saved almost $2 million. But instead, if you start at age 30 instead of age 20 and you invest for only 35 years until the age of 65, you'll only have just over $800,000 instead of nearly $2 million, which is over $1 million mistake. Don't do that. And the biggest mistake of all that I see people make in their 20s again and again and again is getting into massive, crippling student debt without any actual direction or meaning. And let me explain what I mean. Because I'm not necessarily saying that college isn't for everyone. I went to college and I had an amazing time. I learned a lot about myself and I met a lot of amazing people. But you have to be intentional. And what I mean by that is a lot of people go into college and they don't really know what they want to study. They just finished high school and college is the next thing, right? They're going to college to make their parents happy. They're going to college because it's what people do, but they don't actually have any plan for what they want to do with their lives. And so they end up majoring in something like anthropology or sociology, which are very interesting subjects, but it's very difficult to actually go and get a job. I have a lot of people who I went to college with that majored in anthropology or communications, and they ended up working at Costco making rotisserie chickens. So if you are going to go to college, all I'm saying is be careful what you actually choose your major in. Choose something not only that you're passionate about, but also something that actually has the capability of creating and giving you a real high-paying job once you graduate college. Otherwise, I see people every single day go to college, rack up $50,000 or $100,000 of student loan debt, and then not able to even get a job because they decided to major in something like anthropology that they were interested in, but that no one is hiring for. And last but not least, I do want to give a big shout out to our comment winner from last video. Every single video, we're choosing a comment that we want to feature because we love you guys. And if you want to have a chance to be our next comment winner and get a shout out on our next video, all you have to do is one simple thing. Leave a comment down below telling me what your plan is in your 20s. Are you going to go to college? Are you going to skip it and become an entrepreneur? What is your plan? Tell me down below and I will respond to every single one of your comments as much as I humanly can. And if you haven't already, guys, make sure you tap the like button and tap that little red subscribe button right there. Turn on notification bell so that you will be the first to know whenever we drop brand new videos on how to be happy, how to make money online, and how to live a completely fulfilled life. And so until next time, guys, happy hustling.